Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a real-life biological thriller. We're on the trail of a microscopic mastermind that operates right under our noses with a life story so complex, you'll hardly believe it's real.
So let's just jump right in with a puzzle. What on earth could possibly connect a cow just peacefully grazing in a field in the Netherlands, a tiny little freshwater snail, and a watercress salad that you might find on your dinner plate? Well, the answer is a single, incredibly sneaky parasite.
And here it is. Meet the liver fluke from the genus Fasciola. Now, we're going to be looking at two main species today, Fasciola hepatica and its cousin, Fasciola gigantica. I know, they might not look like much, but these flatworms are the masterminds behind a massive global health issue for both animals and people. And their life cycle? It's nothing short of extraordinary.
All right, so let's get our investigation underway. We're building a profile on our two main culprits, Fasciola hepatica and the bigger Fasciola gigantica. To really understand how they operate, first we've got to figure out what they actually are.
You know, when you hear the word parasite, your mind probably jumps to something like Giardia, a simple single-celled protozoan. But that's not what we're dealing with here. No, Fasciola is a metazoan. It's a complex, multicellular animal with specialized organs. We're not just talking about a germ. This is a highly sophisticated creature.
So what's its MO? Well, it's an endoparasite. Think about a tick, an ectoparasite that lives on the outside of its host. Fasciola does the complete opposite. It carries out its entire adult life deep inside the host's body, specifically inside the liver's bile ducts. This is quite literally an inside job.
And here's the official case file. Fasciola is in the animal kingdom, part of the phylum of flatworms called Platyhelminthes and the class of flukes known as Trematophoda. And look, this isn't just trivia for a biology test. This classification tells us exactly what kind of evolutionary tools it's working with and how it relates to other parasites out there.
Now for what is, honestly, the most mind-blowing part of this whole story. We are going to trace this parasite's journey, a wild, multi-stage heist that depends on incredible precision, perfect timing, and, yeah, a little bit of luck.
Okay, this diagram right here, this is our map. And I know it looks complicated, because it is complicated. The life cycle of Fasciola is an absolute masterclass in survival. It involves two totally different hosts and a bunch of incredible transformations just to get from one tiny egg to a reproducing adult.
Let's break this heist down, step by step. It all starts with the release, when eggs get passed from an infected animal into a freshwater source. Next comes the invasion. Tiny larvae hatch, and now they're in a race against time to find and invade a very specific kind of snail. Inside that snail, the transformation happens. The parasite multiplies like crazy. Then it's time for the escape, as new larvae burst out of the snail and latch onto aquatic plants, setting the perfect ambush for an unsuspecting mammal, like a cow or a person. Finally, the destination. The young flukes make their way to the liver's bile ducts to grow up and start the whole cycle over again.
And this brings us to the crucial accomplice in this whole operation, the getaway driver, if you will. Without these particular freshwater snails, the entire life cycle of the liver fluke just stops, dead in its tracks. The snail is the essential partner in crime, the place where the parasite undergoes its most critical development.
So let's take a look at the global crime scene. Fasciola hepatica is the world traveler here, common in temperate zones all over Europe and the Americas. Its bigger cousin, Fasciola gigantica, prefers warmer, tropical climates, mostly in Africa and Asia. And in some places, their territories actually overlap, which, well, we'll get to that later. Now, this really brings the risk home. Take a country like the Netherlands. With all its wet, grassy pastures, it's basically a perfect paradise for these snails. And the impact on livestock is huge. Some studies have found that the prevalence of Fasciola hepatica in Dutch cattle has gotten as high as 23%. That's nearly 1 in 4 cows. But this is where things get really interesting. You have this perfect breeding ground for the parasite in livestock, right? But most human cases in the Netherlands are actually imported. They're brought in by people traveling from other parts of the world. Still, the risk is always there because all the right conditions for local transmission are already in place. So what happens when the parasite's heist is successful and it reaches its final destination? Let's take a closer look at the aftermath of the infection. The disease fascioliasis happens in two very different stages. First, you've got the acute phase. This is the invasion. The young flukes are literally tunneling their way through the liver tissue, which causes all sorts of problems, like fever, pain, and serious inflammation. Then, weeks or even months later, it shifts into the chronic phase. This is the occupation. The adult flukes have now settled into the bile ducts, causing long-term damage, blockages, and sometimes jaundice.
So how on earth does it manage to stick around for so long? I mean, shouldn't the immune system just take care of it? Well, this is where its real genius comes in. The fluke is a master saboteur. It actively manipulates the host's immune system, basically telling it to stand down. This immune modulation is its superpower, allowing it to hide out and thrive inside the body for years.
Okay, so you've got this incredibly stealthy intruder. It's an expert at hiding. So how do doctors even begin to track it down? Well, let's open up the forensic toolkit.
For the longest time, the only way to be sure was to do it the old-fashioned way. Find the parasite's eggs in a stool sample with a microscope. But here's the problem with that. Only adult flukes produce eggs. That means you can't find them until months into the infection, long after the initial damage of the invasion phase is already done.
Luckily, modern forensics have given us much better tools. We now have serology tests. So instead of looking for the parasite itself, these tests look for the evidence it leaves behind in your blood, the specific antibodies your body creates to fight it. They can detect the fluke's fingerprints with incredible accuracy, giving doctors a massive head start.
And this, right here, is the real game changer. These tests can get a positive result as early as 2 to 4 weeks after the initial infection, right in the middle of that acute phase. That gives doctors a huge advantage and a critical window to start treatment before the parasite can settle in for the long haul.
So, we know who our culprit is, we know how it operates, and we know how to find the evidence. Now for the big finale. How do we stop it? And what new mysteries are scientists trying to solve right now?
Well, the best way to fight this parasite is to never get infected in the first place. And prevention all comes down to breaking that life cycle we talked about. First, if you eat aquatic plants like watercress, make sure they are cooked thoroughly. Second, be really careful about drinking untreated water, especially from areas where animals graze. And finally, managing the parasite in livestock with veterinary controls is key to reducing the number of eggs getting into the environment to begin with.
And just when you think you've got the case all wrapped up, nature throws a curveball. Remember those areas where Fasciola hepatica and Fasciola gigantica live side by side? Well, researchers have now found hybrid forms of the fluke. It's a brand new twist that creates new challenges for diagnosis and for control, proving that this ancient parasite is still evolving and keeping us on our toes.
All the information in this explainer was compiled using a Gemini deep search. If you want to dive into the data yourself, we've put a complete list of all our sources in the Notebook LM document, which you can find linked in the description.
So, what did you think? If you enjoyed this deep dive, please subscribe to our channel for more explainers just like this one. And we really do want to hear from you, so leave any questions or feedback you have in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching.